write this here rhyme like gurus in the passenger. Standing on the East Coast, staring out to Africa. Accolades, escalates, fade. My vernacular remain intact for the generation that's coming after the average rapper. You praise days, number like a calendar. Challenges caliber, mediocre.
All right, so peace and blessings, King.
Peace and blessings to you, King. Yeah, thank you for taking time out to have this interview with us tonight. So our platform is called Head2Head. This is a platform where we celebrate literally our favorite albums that we like to listen to, and obviously it's a privilege to have an artist of your stature join us for episode 4 of our series. So during this interview, we're literally going to be we're going to kick off with a bit of history, and then basically we're going to get into the new album, and we're gonna take a look at that in depth. And yeah, we're just gonna that's basically, you know, very straightforward how we roll. So without further ado, if you don't mind, we're gonna jump into the first question.
Yeah, let's get it.
Cool, man. So basically the first question is basically for our audience in Europe and anybody that's not completely familiar with the backstory. And would you mind telling us the origin of your hip hop name, and was it your first hip hop name?
And as we speak, I'm putting the actual name. So you know, that was my government name on there. But like the origins of REKS, I started out as a b-boy in Lawrence, Massachusetts, and before I picked up the mic, you know, I wanted to be down with my older cousins breakdancing and what have you. But the origins of the name REKS is an acronym, and it stands for Rhythmatic Eternal King Supreme.
Right.
The acronym thing came to me because I was a big fan of KRS-One growing up, and I love the whole knowledge reign supreme over nearly everybody. Monica, and I just was big on that. And throughout my career, I've used acronyms, and you know, obviously the new album T.H.I.N.G.S is an acronym as well. Hungry Inside, Never Get Satisfied. So, you know, from the origins till today, the acronym thing has stuck with me.
Man, so what inspired you to put the mat away and pick up the microphone, man?
First and foremost, I wasn't the illest b-boy.
Okay.
I was able to like do a few things, but like I wasn't gonna like be able to make anything like, you know, long lasting or self-sustaining over a career with it. And shout out to all the b-boys out there who still keep doing it strong, and the graffiti artists out there still doing it strong. But for me, the mic was a calling because everything that was going on in my social environment and everything that was going on in my household and in the households around me kind of spoke to me and created a specific emotion that I only was able to articulate through my music and through my art. Like expressing it through drawing or expressing it in some form of art, it always has been impactful. I was an artist as well, not a graffiti artist, but I was really into like, you know, freehand drawing a lot of different joints, specifically like Marvel Comics. I was really big in the like Incredible Hulk and comic books when I was young.
Nice. And did you have any early inspirations, would you say, as you was transitioning into being an MC?
As far as other MCs, artists,
yeah, that
from a hip hop perspective, the aforementioned KRS-One definitely. Kumo D was the reason why I like, you know, like spit my first rhyme, because Kumo D, like, and I'm dating myself because I'm talking about OGs, you know what I mean, and like that's the reality of like what it is. You know, Kumo D had the Christmas rap, and during the watching Beat Street and seeing the Christmas rap, I wanted to memorize that and like make that a part of like my everyday and performing myself until I had to get out there and do my own writing and penning and getting my art expressive. So like, you know, artists like that. But from that era to like the Nas's, to groups like Wu-Tang, groups like Outkast and Tribe and De La, and you know, locally heads like Ed O.G. and my peers such as Acrobatic, Mr. Liff, also Crumb Snatcher in the neighborhood, Scientific in the neighborhood, and my brother Terminology. you know, these are individuals who have been impactful. A really big one, shout out to Farrell Monch, who's on the album, but like real talk, growing up very young, one of my first early vinyls was Organized Confusion's Stress Extension Agenda. Like that was big for me. That was monumental. And so was OC Word Life.
Yeah.
I always want to say Time's Up, but like it's like, you know, like Word Life was like a real big one for me, and Jules especially, but like, you know, it started off with like, you know, a lot of DITC, a lot of Gangstar, a lot of like, you know,
it's that real gritty.
The essentials. Yeah. The
New York sound, the East Coast sound.
Yes, but don't get it twisted. I was a big fan of Scarface. I was a big fan of Cube. I didn't really gravitate towards NWA the way like a lot of heads around my neighborhood might have. You know, I had a lot of homies who were really big on NWA. It just didn't move or impact me the same way. The East Coast really had me like in a chokehold, very young. You know what I mean?
So basically, you gravitated to the more lyrical MCs.
Absolutely. I was always a fan of like dexterity with the pen, man. Absolutely.
Nice. So what would you say? How long was the process from the moment you first picked up the pen until you was at a level to record your first project? How long did that take?
That was I picked up the pen probably around 11, 12, and then I recorded my first demo at the age of 18. So it wasn't a crazy long time. I mean, it seems like it might have been, but that was like maybe 6-7 years. Like, it was a small time frame. I've been with hip hop forever. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's never not been a part of my life, really. Or it had an impact on my life. But yeah, like I recorded my first demo, like taking on a break from college at UMass Amherst, 18 years old. We went and we recorded a bunch of records.
Nice. Now, because your first projects came out in the early 2000s, right?
Yeah, my first album dropped in 2001. Nice.
So so literally you've been relatively prolific. I think last time I counted, you was at I don't know, between 12 and 14 projects in total. Or?
My solo projects are 12, and like, you know, I got the group project with ST the Squad, which also you can add to that. And you know, I've done a few mixtapes with my crew. Like these mixtapes like that I've done, like you add them up, I'm close to like, you know, 20 in total, like everything considered.
Nice. So for new listeners that are starting to get to know you off the back of this new album, if they needed to do a bit of homework, what would you recommend were 5 essential REKS projects that they need to hear, that they need to listen to?
I would say definitely go to The Greatest X, because The Greatest X gives you a big breadth, a depth and breadth of like who I am. Truthfully, it's really extensive. It's a 2-hour project, so it's a lot of work to delve into, but you get all pieces of who I am as an artist. The 2 pieces that, like, you know, are kind of like cornerstones of my career are Gray Hairs and the REKS album. Those are the records that kind of like catapulted me a little further up, as far as people like, you know, at least being able to place a face with the name a little bit in the underground. So I would say the REKS album, the Gray Hairs album, Greatest X, revolutionary because it's a lot different than any of the other ones in that it's a very specific oriented project that's really politically driven. And focused on like specifically about social commentary and political activism. And then my opening album, which is like my debut, Along Came the Chosen, which was, you can date back all the way back there. I would say go to those ones first to like kind of get your first early like taste of who I am.
Nice. And along the way you picked up the kind of like the nickname of being the greatest unknown. And what's the story behind that name?
I mean, I would always spew out like the greatest no one ever heard about, or things to that nature, and like certain rhymes and stuff like that. And like, you know, just building with homies and people around, they would like really like be like, you gotta really hold true to that, because out of like, you know, what you've done as far as a discography and catalog, and you know, seeing where your stature is when people think of notoriety and legacy and fame. You know, in the scheme of things, I'm a relatively unknown. Obviously, like I don't approach social media or things of importance for like typical artists the way they do. Like my day consists of me waking up and being about my yoga, meditation, and focus on something completely different internally. And so that's now, but like even before all of that, like the access to like REKS material wasn't like, you know, just it wasn't easy to approach my music and get a hold of like my records globally, you know.
Yeah, and I noticed whilst doing my research that you have an interesting attitude towards signing to labels. That you do a lot of short-term contracts. So
absolutely one-offs. Yeah, absolutely. My approach has always been, I've never like signed to a major label. I've never been on that wave. But like, you know, the great thing about what I've done with Brick Records is we've been able to like have an open relationship where, you know, if I wanted to do something, you know, outside of what we're doing, I have that freedom because I haven't signed some extensive long contract where, you know, I'm like tied in for like 5-6 projects and, you know, married to a certain label. Like I'm able to do my independent thing. And like, you know, I have my own imprint with my brother Lucky Dice called BMGI, Bullies Music Group Incorporated. And we're set in 2021 to put out some artists of our own. And we're gonna like approach it the same way where when they want to put out a project, you know, they can agree, we can make an agreement, like a mutual beneficial agreement to like drop something on like a one-shot thing, you know. And like if we come back and we want to work together again, cool. And if they want the freedom or they get the opportunity to do something like more in the range of where they're going with their career, then they have the freedom to do that.
Yeah, and I notice a lot of artists that more commonly now when they approach running labels, they look at it more as a partnership than, whereas with the major label they're kind of like, we own you for a specific amount of time and then we own your masters for years after your passing. So do you look at it more as a partnership between you and the artist?
Absolutely, especially in dealing with melanated Black, brown people that specifically may not, you know, not necessarily saying they don't have their foot in the doors as far as business acumen and what have you, but a lot of time we're given the short end of the stick, but also our ability to connect to that kind of mind frame is thwarted by the fact that like, yo, a lot of times we're like thinking do school so you can get a 9-to-5 job, as opposed to do school so you can like, you know, get the know-how to be an owner rather than a worker. And so what I'm instilling in my young kings and my young queens is to think ownership first before you're thinking about, you know, working a 9-to-5. Now you can do a 9-to-5 and you can have that kind of gig and live that kind of life, but be mindful that get something that's an asset and learn how to get residual income and income from, you know, so many different revenue streams rather than just be approaching it as a one-trick pony, you know, and you know, like you're gonna, you know, run that wheel until the wheels fall off, you know.
Very true. So looking at your career over the last 20 years leading up to this new album, obviously coming into it as a fan of the culture, and getting to a point where you're so respected as a lyricist that you've had the opportunity to collaborate with so many icons of hip hop, such as DJ Premier, and obviously Pharoah Monch and Action Bronson, and you know, Evidence, and such a, you know, so many legends. Man, what was that experience for you?
It's a continuous, like, you know, incredible feeling that like, you know, that's kind of indescribable in terms of like, you know, where I came from as a fan of hip hop to like, and continuously being a fan, but like specifically just being on the outside looking in and not really feeling like I'm part of a circle and part of a community, to like now feeling like I'm a part of a community and part of like a group of individuals who respect me for my craft. And I can say, you know, the feeling has always been mutual, but like, you know, like it's incredible to be able to work with individuals who I grew up idolizing, or who I was like, you know, one day if this could happen, that'd be incredible. To like being able to tour with cats like Evidence and with Alchemist when they did the Step Brothers tour, or touring with MOP or Coca Nostra. You know, doing shows with Master Ace to Rakim, you know what I'm saying? Like, it's just been an incredible ride.
Wow, that's amazing, man. And and how did you find the response when you stepped outside of America and you came overseas? What was that experience like for you, man?
It was incredible. Like it was incredible. Like the first tour I did was a great tour, and we were able to like, you know, like the response from the people was immediately like, you know, genuine and opening and welcoming. Everywhere we went, I was like, it was incredible to see like places, for instance, like in Eastern Europe where there's not a true connection to the language the way there is in more of the Western areas of Europe. But like for them to not have a connection to the English language, but still be gravitating towards the music from the rhythm of itself and the energy and the emotion and the passion of the music. So I would like perform certain records, and sometimes say, let's take Poland, for instance, and I would do a showcase and, you know, somebody would be spitting the lyrics like kind of verbatim, and I get off stage, go to talk to them, and they don't speak a lick of English. You know what I mean? Which is an incredible experience. And like that's happened a few times for me in areas like Poland and like Croatia, to have individuals like that. But like I've also taken it upon myself to like learn, like I'm learning German. I've been learning German for about 4 years now. And I'm studying other languages as well, especially like just because like I'm in those kind of environments, and I'd rather, you know, kind of have a feel and grasp for like, you know, the lay of the land myself.
Yeah. And do you find a lot of those European countries appreciate more of the boom bap sound even more than America in regards to the style of music that you do?
For a period of time, I felt it was like that. I feel like Europe is like, specifically in like, so for the UK, as far as my outside looking in perspective, I feel you guys have it's a unique environment there, because you guys have grime and you have like different feels of music that kind of cater off and veer off into its own kind of lane and identity, which is commendable and respectable. And at the same time, it's like you're not always going to be just gearing yourself towards like a specific traditional sound. That traditional sound is highly respected, but there's more openness for like expansive sounds. And then also I feel that same thing occurs in France. But like then when you get into, you know, other areas like in Germany and in Switzerland, for instance, or Austria, I see them being strictly traditionalist, and then there being like kind of a divisional line where it's like you have your traditionalists, and then you have your areas where it's specifically trap. Like, you know, it's still filtering off into these locations like Germany and Austria and even Italy. Like I was in Italy and to see certain villages and see like individuals doing certain trap music. I was like, it was kind of bugged out to me. But it's the norm, you know. And in the U.S., I feel like we're kind of spoiled with the music to a degree, and so some of that traditional stuff is coming back, and respect for traditional sounds with the new Busta album, and like with things that are like that, with Black Dog remaining consistent with what he's been doing, and having, you know, underground mainstays, you know, just do what they do. I feel like there are a lot of people in the States who respect it, but Europe does what Europe does. Europe is like it's got a bunch of different variations going on, I guess.
Real talk, man. So we're gonna jump into the new album, titling which you've called Things, the hunger inside.
Never get satisfied.
Never get satisfied. That's right. So what was the idea behind the title? You mentioned earlier that you're into acronyms. Is there a deeper concept to this project?
Yeah, so the main concept for Things, the hunger inside, never get satisfied, is to show the parallel of, you know, our livelihood and our lives, juxtaposed against like the backdrop of the world that we're living in, and what we tend to value or disvalue or discount, or devalue. The reality is, like, you know, in our lives, we kind of like put things on higher pedestals that aren't really that important. And we kind of like build up all these like nice little shiny and glossy trinkets on top of our shelves and what have you, that like may not matter in the long run. Whereas, you know, the items that do matter, the individuals that kind of play a major part and key role in our lives, kind of fall to the backdrop or the wayside, and this was an opportunity for me to show the importance of how valuable the people around me are, and how valuable the things that, you know, we kind of like lose sight of are valuable to me. When you like close your eyes and you like just go inward and start thinking about your connection to something more divine and self, like that's really the pure essence of like what's valuable to me.
Man. And how long did this album take to assemble, like from the first concept to the execution of the project?
I want to say like it was probably about a couple years in the making. A lot of people ask me, like, I've been doing interviews and people have been asking if this was written through the pandemic or like in response to what was going on right now. And it's not a response to like what's going on. My music has always kind of resonated with the heartbeat of what's going on in our environment. And this has been a brewing issue, like the plight of humanity and social injustice and all the topical matter that's in my music is resonating a lot more now, just because of people being a little more aware and insightful about the things that matter. And so because of that, people having that kind of mind frame, I feel like there's been a lot of more gravitation towards this project, and it's getting a lot more attention than some of my albums in the past.
Yeah, and everybody sat in their house, so they've got no other choice but
they've got no choice but to listen. Yeah, you got that right.
So I mean, so what is the experience like releasing an album during a pandemic, which obviously it affects the rollout because you can't do any shows? So how have you managed to adapt and navigate through this?
Sit still and let it work out and manifest the way it's supposed to. Like, honestly, I didn't feel the need to rush. I didn't feel like I needed to like lessen the amount of records on the project. I felt I needed to do what felt right. And in terms of like you not being able to tour, I feel I've been engaged with fans online through social media. Social media offers us a home as if we're like right in front of the people anyway. So I can like I've been doing more interviews than I've done ever for any album, and I've been able to like, you know, be in the homes across the globe, but also like you know, I've done one-on-one conversations. I've been setting up like a virtual tour, and we're still touring. Like we're gonna tour. It's gonna be the new look and new normal of like what it is, but we're still being able to do what we need to do. And I mean, again, like I said, the response to this album has been magnificent, and I feel a lot of that is close to what you've already stated. People don't got a choice; they own, you know, so they listen. Yeah.
And just to look at the production credits on this album is just insane, man. I've seen Nuts, Evidence, Static Selector, obviously a long-time collaborator of yours, Apollo Brown, Drugs Beats, Evidence, Andre X. Was this by design, that, or was this all basically all the plates spinning at the right time, or how did you manage to bring such an amazing group of producers together for this project?
I really wanted to do. First of all, thank you for the kind words about the list itself, and I feel like the reality was I wanted to do a mixture of like producers I've highly respected who I've hadn't had a chance to work with, like Marco Polo and Evidence I got to work with, but not really the way I got to work with them on this project. So there was a lot more of Evidence effect on this project, and you could feel it in the different records, and a lot more of Apollo Brown. Which was something necessary. And I've grown accustomed to reaching out to someone like Knots, who's like a mainstay at just always being versatile and also being on point. Like you never could fail with working with Knots, or like having Knots material out in the atmosphere. Like he's one of the GOATs, and he's one of the most underrated, and even though he's been highly touted, he's one of the most underrated at the same time in terms of what he's done. And then like at cats like on the come up who are individuals from either my neighborhood or from areas outside on the outskirts, such as Drugs Beats, who's not from my neighborhood, but who's somebody who is making waves for himself, and like is super incredible talent, and people just they need to understand he's a go-to for a sound bed. It was just he's someone who I wanted to work with for a while, and just the time was right now. And then locally, cats like Short Fuse, who's a frequent collaborator for me. My project before this Things album was completely produced by Short Fuse, and he's produced a few albums for Terminology, the Goya, Mas Goya, and that's somebody who I have to consistently work with. Also, BMGI, the label that we have a producer by the name of REKS, who's also a rapper, a singer. He did all the graph work on the social media that I'm doing. He's like a renaissance man, and he's positioned on the album on the joint Brotherly Love. It was just getting together with the people who I felt really spoke to like the emotion of what this album represented, really. Yeah, and one thing I did notice about this album, which you are generally consistent with as well, is the sequencing, and the things that people don't really often talk about is how well it was mixed and mastered as well. Do you want to say anything about that process of crafting an album? Yeah, I appreciate you taking notice, and I went to a different. I started off with a different individual, John Glass, who did the actual intro to the album. Incredible producer and engineer, and I went to him for the mixing duties. For the first time, I like to mess with different sounds and different individuals, and I went to John Glass because he had a newer feel to like his sound of mixing and stuff like that. He's a little more fun with it, I just knew like a lot of the young heads who who I listened to from my neighborhood were going to John Glass for certain things. So I wanted to test my hand at him. And then when it came to the mastering, I was going to my tried and true, where Has This Sounds, who did my entire album, Eyes Watching God. He produced the entire album, and he's just somebody who I respect, whose ear I completely respect. He does all the engineering for the Drink Champ show, and he's just got an incredible ear for sound quality and what have you. And I put my little inputs and what have you into like every project that I do, but this one I feel like I have the most say in any project I've ever done, and I really feel that resonates in the project from beginning to end.
Nice, and even with the visuals, man, the video for Animal Kingdom and legacy driven as well, man, which I thought was very, very dope. Is there any more? Are we going to expect any more visuals from this album? Or
funny, I just got the new video today. We're about to release it.
Oh, nice.
Most likely within the week. We just finished Miseducation. We have a few other joints in the works right now. There'll be joints for Benjamin's Dead, The Complex, and a few others. But the dope thing about this rollout is like I can take my time. Like people are sitting at home, and like honestly, before on other projects, I would have been at video number 4 or 5, and then like been like, okay, is this overkill or are we moving on to the next? But like with this one, we can like kind of sit and meditate with it and like allow other things to like transpire. We got a lot of cool things happening. Like I said, with putting together things for shows and different stuff like that. So yeah, we're letting the videos that are out there marinate, and then we're gonna continue to like roll them out as they need to be rolled out. And we got other stuff going on as well. So we're excited. Nice, man, nice. Yeah.
And obviously we mentioned him earlier on. You've got the legendary Pharoah Monge on the track as well. That's the Complex. Was that your first collaboration with Pharoah, or
it is the first? It is the first. And yeah, it's the first collaboration. Hopefully, of many to come. I mean, super talented. Obviously, shout out to Pharoah. He just dropped a single for his 13. The Fight joint featuring Cypress Hill.
Oh, nice.
And Daryl Jones, like super dope concept and idea. But Pharoah was somebody who I always wanted to work with, and he was perfect for the concept of taking on big pharmaceutical and big the military industrial complex, and the concept of individuals returning home with PTSD. A lot of times when people talk about PTSD from wars, it's post-traumatic stress disorder, but reality is like you can also tie in the idea and concept of PTSD being post-traumatic slave disorder, where individuals post-slavery in the United States never really had a period. And I don't know how it was in the UK or anywhere else, but I know there were no systems or things set up for individuals coming off of slavery to be dealt with as far as their mental capacity after dealing with something so traumatizing. So that's something like I'm bringing up now because it's something that needs to be touched upon later. Yeah. But the complex itself was to touch on the industrials, the prison industrial complex, the military industrial complex, pharmaceutical, medical, educational, all these different institutions that are set up for us that are failing us in many aspects, in many walks of life.
Yeah, and that's something that especially has been greatly amplified this year with the global pandemic, and then obviously the death of George Floyd and the Black Lives Matter marches all around America. And obviously I noticed you've got the T-shirt on, F Police Brutality. So that's something that you feel genuinely really strongly about as well.
Absolutely. The mind frame that I ride with, you know what I'm saying, I got this on, but I also got Good Dad Gang. Like, we're about elevating the youth, you know. Shout out to Term again for the movement and mind frame of like fathers being on point and being there for their legacy, for their progeny. And that's what we're on. We're about building for our villages, for our tribes, and taking account and having accountability for like what our people need, especially in a time so devastating and ravaging towards mental health, physical health, and spiritual health. So like people are being broken down, and I want to make sure from my end that I'm holding up my part for the people out there and for my village within. You know what I'm saying?
That's real talk, man. I've heard in previous interviews how important obviously being there for your children is to you, and talk us through the process of what it's like to obviously to marriage your life as an MC, but then also being a parent that's fully active in your children's lives as well.
It's a balancing act, and it's a tough situation. You know, I've been through pitfalls and made mistakes along the road, but what I've never done is given up, like, you know, my desire or will to be there for my seeds and like for my village. You know, I'm a black man who got married, what people would consider young, in my early 20s, and you know, had a child around that age, and like that's not super young to have a child, at least not in the States. My mom had me when she was 16. You know, that was very young, but like in my early 20s, still wet behind the ears, not truly knowing or experiencing life, having a child and for the first time, and being a young married man, you know, you come across certain pitfalls and things that are difficult, especially trying to be someone who travels the world and does a job that's not atypical of like the family structure and like this idea of what is an American dream is. Whoever you may be, you have your own kind of concept of what an American dream looks like. Or wherever you are in the globe, you might have your own version of what like a true dream of like what your life is supposed to be, from adolescence to your adulthood to like, you know, elder age. But like for me, as a youngster in that kind of concept and in that setting that I had set up for myself, I confused and I was lost a lot of times in how to balance the music and the daily life. I made a lot of mistakes and I learned from a lot of that. And I'm here today with, you know, my since being divorced and my ex-wife having a new husband, and they have a beautiful, loving relationship. And I have a new queen now, and we have a beautiful, loving relationship. And us as a village, we raise these children together. And the mind frame is not to be, you know, have any animosity or any anger or any like part of that stuff that's not going to help build up the young kings and the young queens. But we have a responsibility to like do what we got to do for them, so that like when they go out into this world, they are prepared, better prepared, and they got all the sharpened tools. You know what I'm saying? Like we are setting them up and not setting them up for failure.
Right. And I've also noticed in past interviews you've mentioned working with young people and being a mentor and the importance of being a community leader as well, man. How important is that in terms of your overall I could say creative process as an artist to feel the need to inspire the younger generation?
It's absolutely imperative, and not only to inspire but to learn from them as well. What we have a tendency to do is we inspire and we teach, but we teach so much that we forget about listening and learning. And so that's a major key for me, like when it comes to the youth, because the youth got jewelry. And they can teach us older heads, us OGs, how to like really like move and shake and do things, and we can humble ourselves to like learn from each other. It's a growing process where we're not just the fruit of information and the fruit of wisdom. We gotta be able to like share it both ways. But like it's absolutely imperative to me to be a spokesperson for the youth and to be an advocate and to be a book of knowledge, if I can, impart any wisdom for them, then I want to be that. And again, like if above all else, I want to be there to listen. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, that's incredible, man. And it's incredible to see your journey and listen to your musical growth. And the one thing that I find so fascinating is, especially with this album, you sound so hungry and driven, man. And it leads me to my next question. Even though the album's still fresh in the minds of the listeners, but I'd be interested to know what is next for REKS. Like
I'm working. Yeah. I've already started the new solo project, but I got a full project. I got a full project completed with my group Lucky Dice and H.E.A.D2HEAD. We got a group called M Diesel, and we got a full album ready. Like this album's hard. Like it's been a record that's been a long time coming, because these are dudes who I've been working with since Along Came the Chosen. And this record, we don't have a title yet. It's untitled at the moment. But it's a carryover of all this growth that we've been going through, and like, you know, it's real beautiful music. And then like as a solo artist, I'm always penning, I'm always creating off of the signs of the times. As long as there's a heartbeat going on in the world, then I'm gonna have something to write about. I'm gonna have a sound bed to drop some jewelry.
That's amazing, man. In past interviews, I've heard your desire to want to collaborate with artists such as Kendrick Lamar and Big Crit.
Yeah.
Are there any other artists on that list who you'd like to collaborate with in the future?
Odyssey, I'd love to work with Ciroc. I'm in my DC bag right now. Kev Brown. I'd love to work with J. Cole. Like, I'd love to work with like all of J. Cole's crew, like Earth Gang and Jid, and you know, I love what Griselda's doing, so I'd love to work with them. And then getting outside of that and into another bag, I'd love to, you know, tap into like legendary. Like, if I'm really thinking super big, it would be Stevie Wonder. He's like, he's like the quintessential. He's like my favorite artist of all time. Like, when it comes down to like when you're talking GOAT status, like he's the top of that totem. You know what I mean? As far as like salutes that I got for like artistry.
Man, out of curiosity, what's your favorite Stevie album?
So like there's I just did this with my son. It's incredible. He brought me a like chart and he was like, yo, you have to give me all your favorite albums. It's like my son, he like makes my oldest, he's 17 now, and my oldest son, my daughter, she's 20. But like so like my son, he's like, yo, you gotta give me your top 20. It don't gotta be like just hip hop. It could be whatever you want to do. Like, just show me your list. And so, you know, Songs in the Key is there. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's like it's super top tier. But like, it's crazy. He's my favorite artist. But like, I was asked a question of if I had one record to like just give to somebody. It wasn't even a Stevie record. It would have been Bob Marley, Legend. You know what I'm saying? Like, or like, you know,
but that's more of a greatest hits, isn't it? Legend. It
is, but so is a lot of what Stevie has put together. You know what I'm saying? Like, so is a lot of those joints. I mean, I'm about to be starting my greatest hits too, but like, you know what I mean? Like, I really am. You know what I'm saying? Like, I feel like, you know, there's opportunity for that, like mix and matching and putting together nice little lists, and people are able to do that with their playlists now. But the Bob Marley joint is like that's like top tier when it comes to like musical soundscape. And then I think of Curtis, and I think of Gil Scott, and I'm like, you know, Gil Pieces of a Man. Is just phenomenal. Like, you know, these are phenomenal records from phenomenal artists. I'm going to the Nina bag. I can go into the Marvin bag, and like there's just some incredible artists. If I'm not listening to like meditation sounds, it's like either soul or like, you know, I don't really listen to a lot of hip hop. Like, I listened to this Busta album because I had to listen to that because I was happy for that. Yeah. But and this year I'll be real, this year has had some good music. This year has had some really incredible hip hop for me. But yeah, like, I mean, for the most part, I'm like, my headphones are on and I'm just listening to meditation sounds like all day. Or my sons, they go into the bathroom and we got amber candles lit, and you know what I'm saying, divine love incense, and they're like, yo, we feel like we at the dentist's office. Like, man, come on, what's going on? But like, that's what we on. We on Zen It Out.
Man, do you know one thing though? Listening to your music over the years, and your style, your pen game, I'm intrigued. Would you ever consider writing a book?
I've started.
Okay.
I've started, and you know what's crazy is the book is not geared towards like what people would probably think I'm writing on. Like, as we speak, you know, like, we do this. This is what we do. Like, I sit here with these books. You know what I mean? Like, this is what we're on all day. You know what I mean? Like, we don't play around. In this household, you're gonna get it. You know what I mean? Like, so we're studying all day. But like, yeah, I'm penning stuff right now. Like, it's far from ready. But like, yeah, trust me, books are in the works. I got concepts for days. You know what I'm saying? Nice. I got concepts for days.
So you sound like you're ready to jump out of the hip hop box, man, and obviously, you know, divert into to books? And would you ever consider screenplays for films? Or
I don't think that's my bag. I don't think I could. I'm not built for that. Like I leave that to, like, you know, there's artists who, like, I gotta respect that artistry, but I feel like I'm a writer. Okay. I'm a writer by nature, and I don't see that visual aspect of, like, the way I write being geared towards me. But, like, I've always, even since young, I always could see myself writing a book, and I have a concept for the first book that I'm gonna drop, and it's not, like, you know, autobiographical. It's not like, you know, I don't want to talk about me. I've talked so much about, you know, me and connection to hip hop and the world around me and my music that I don't really feel I got to give people pieces of that in a book. All people got to do is listen to the message and the music, and they know me through the music. But I have ideas and things to talk about very specifically through my art as far as writing for some books.
Nice. That sounds incredible, man. So to wrap, when it's all said and done, what would you say is the REKS legacy? What would you want people to remember you for?
Truly, so, like, when it's all said and done, not just this hip hop thing. I definitely don't want that to be my storyline. I want individuals to see me believing in health, wellness, you know, inner understanding of self to like transcend and be with the divine, and just focus on bettering humanity in general. Like that, just like when my words are put to power, and when people think about what my words manifested and meant, it's about, like, doing better for humanity.
Man, that's beautiful, man. And for the people listening who have not even ventured into the new album for some crazy reason, what would you say? Why do people need to hear this new album, man? Things.
It's a testament to melanated and black and brown love. It's a testament to individuals having the will to succeed beyond, like, you know, all the things that are, like, put in front of us as barriers, and things that like kind of thwart us from our success. It's a testament to individuals growing out of, like, you know, the shells of the people that we are to becoming our divine self. It's like, you know, really looking at self as kings and queens that we truly are, and truly getting to know who we are as our human nature, and not being defined by, like, how the world kind of defines us, you know, with these color schemes and hues and, like, these views that really truly don't represent what the true shades of our nature is.
That's real. That's incredible, man. I've got one final request, if you don't mind. I don't really want to put you on the spot, man. Is there, like, a verse or something you can kick for us, just to?
I mean, I'll bring it back. I'll bring it back to, like, because I haven't spit. So, like, I've been wanting to, like, spit jump shots so bad, so I could, like, just do jump shots. And I was like, bad boy Piston 89. I was trying to be like number 11 shorty with the dimes. I ain't talking block bagging to the block passing dimes. Zeke Thomas, we had similar dramas, similar mamas, related to his tale of future promise. He from Chicago. Lawrence saw that I know, but I saw the similar dilemma. The harsh hold on lost souls, pots gone, eyes closed, Christmas wrong, wishing for a new Spalding. Need to change that logo from Jerry West to Jordan. Saw them hoop dreams, turnpike dreams within the night. Fiends lean, drug dealers whip is so clean. MC's jewels is so flashy, and Pippin posterized Patrick Ewing so nasty. Class B, boring as hell, trying to pay attention, and Jigga drop that hard knock life, teaching the lessons of, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, dope. REKS, man, this has been an absolute blessing. I want to thank you so much for taking the time to kick it with the Connoisseurs, man, in our head-to-head series.
Appreciate you.
You know, and we're going to continue to support your music on our platform, man.
Salute. Appreciate you so much. And, like, yo, if people want to get at the music, you know, you go to my IG, go into the bio. It's at REKS Hip Hop. That's at REKS Hip Hop. go into the link in the bio, and Smart URL has all the music. You know what I'm saying? You can get the streams, you can get the new vinyl, which I gotta speak to real quick. The vinyl is a beautiful limited edition vinyl with the red, black, and green splatter for the Pan-African colors. You gotta get that joint. Make sure you get yourself a copy of the new album, a physical, or go out and stream it. But it's a real dope one. Things, the hunger inside never gets satisfied.
Right. In fact, that's a good point actually, which I completely forgot to ask you about. What is the importance of merchandise and obviously delivering vinyl for the vinyl collectors and people that want a physical? Because a lot of people are wrapped up in the whole stream thing, and it kind of loses the value of music now. So why is it so important for you to put that time and effort into creating such a beautiful looking vinyl?
I mean, the art is valuable. Like if you create something of value, people are gonna go out and want to support it. I have art pieces all across my household because I value the look and the uniqueness of the art. And so I feel like that vinyl speaks for itself. Individuals that hit me up consistently like, yo man, this vinyl was so incredible. Like, yo, I need to give me a copy of that, or I'm gonna give me a couple of copies. They love the fact that we took some time and put real intricate effort into like every little nuance and details. If you look at the way the breakdown of the cover looks, and then if you look at the vinyl record itself, once you open it, you're going to be like really fascinated at every aspect of it. It's just another added nuance to like what is the music itself, and it just makes the music hit even better when you put all that effort into everything and tie all that into the marketing and everything. Like if you put your time and effort into it, then people are going to want to support it.
Yeah, and that's another good point you just brought up as well. I think you mentioned, was it REKS that handles your design, your artwork?
Absolutely, yeah.
And what was the concept behind the art on the album cover?
Oh, so REKS didn't do the cover.
Okay.
So REKS actually did all these little one-off pieces of art for each single that I've done. He's done all those covers, but the art that I did for the album cover itself was done by my man DZ. Place Money Here. You can follow DZ. DZ's done actually my last 4 or 5 album covers. He's done like from Greatest X, Revolution, Cocktail. Like I actually, maybe 5 or 6. He's done like a bunch of my albums. And the thing about it is like it's just he put so much effort into us having the dialogue, me conceptualizing what I wanted him to like paint as the backdrop for it, and like to utilize as the first image people see, and he knocked it out the park with that cover. So,
man, that's beautiful, man. That's beautiful, and the art is just great artwork always elevates an album as well, man. In my opinion as well, and I think the artwork is brilliant on this, man.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Many blessings. I appreciate you so much.
Blessings, man. Once again, thank you so much, REKS, for joining us, man.
I thank you. It was beautiful energy, beautiful time, brother.
Awesome, brother. Blessings.
Bless up. All right. Peace.